Hi, community scholars. Shantae. I know everybody is super busy with the end of the semester coming up, but I wanted to just take a few minutes to give you a quick overview of how you might study for exams. And the reason that this webinar is going to be a little quicker than some of my previous ones, a little shorter, is because I'm hoping to be able to have these conversations in person with everyone, and I'll talk about that later. So for this, I'm just going to kind of go over some just like must-dos while getting ready for exams. And I'm going to use the term exams and finals a lot during this, but just know that your actual finals might not look like a final exam week, kind of how I'm describing. So you might have a teacher who your final, who assigns a final that is a paper or a project or a group project. So it might not be a cumulative exam that covers, the entirety of your class. So just to keep that in mind. But regardless of what your final exam schedule looks like, you're probably noticing that you have a lot of assignments due in a short amount of time. So this is kind of what we're talking about. It's just kind of how to manage that space. So here we go. My first and most important thing that I think you can do is reviewing your syllabus. So your instructor give you syllabi at the beginning of the semester. They kind of outline everything. Ideally, if it's a good syllabus and a good instructor, they're letting you know what you can expect. So it might have been a while since you've really looked at your syllabus. So this is a good time because often there is important information about finals week, end of the semester assignments, and what that's going to look like. So while you're kind of going through your syllabi for each of your classes, some things to look out for are dates and deadlines. So when is your last day of class? Is it December 13th? Is that the day that regular classes end? Do you have a study day in between the last day of classes and exam week where you don't have any class and any exams at all? What deadlines do you have? When is your final paper due? If you can do revisions on a paper or retake a test, what is that? What do those deadlines look like? And then also just figuring out what does your exam week schedule look like. So exam week often is not the same as the schedule for your regular classes. Often class periods last longer. Therefore, a lot of institutions make it a whole new exam week like schedule for there. So that will often be in your syllabus. Often, if not, your what school's website probably has a list of that. And of course, always ask your instructor. And if you need help figuring that out, let me know. I can kind of try to help you navigate that. You also want to figure out what materials that you might need for your exam. Is it a Blue Book test? Is it a Scantron test? Do you need pens? Do you need paper? Are you allowed to bring a note sheet with you? That's good to know. And if you can have a note sheet, what sort of things can you put on it? Is it a note card? Is it a whole sheet? You don't want to be the person that misses out on that extra help because you misread or missed something in your syllabus. So on that same note, the content of the exam. So you don't want to be the person that kind of missed something and you think that your test is for the whole semester and really it's not a final. It's just kind of like the last test. And you don't want to spend your time studying 4 months worth of material when really you only needed to concentrate on the last month. So just figuring out, is it cumulative? Is it for the whole semester? Is it just the last test and it just covers the last chapter or section? Resources. So your instructor may have told you in class, in person, or through their syllabus of different resources on campus that can help you while you are studying and working through their course. So that could be coming to their office hours. It could be maybe they have a supplemental instructor who works with their department and sits in on your class and also holds their own study sessions. So if you have access to any of these resources, please utilize them. And something else to look for in your exam is, how is your exam weighted? So when I say weighted, I mean how much is your exam worth compared to everything else? 20%, 40%, that's worth knowing for each of your classes. In a perfect world, we'd work equally hard on everything, but in reality, we're human and we have limited time and limited resources. So if you have a class that you're struggling in and the exam is worth 40%, whereas you have another class you're doing well in and the exam's only worth 15%, you might want to focus some more of your attention and resources towards the class where the exam is going to be weighted much more heavily, particularly if it's in a class that you're struggling in. So just a little quick thing here. So you can kind of see these are a couple of my actual pictures from my syllabi for my classes. The picture on the left, you can see that my last day of class is tomorrow, the 7th, and I have nothing else after that. So once I get done with my assignments that are due today, I'm done. Um, the syllabi on the right, you can see that November 6th is my last in-person meeting, and my final project is due today. But I still have a discussion board due next week, but we do not meet in person. So really, today is my last day of class, and my final is due, but I still have something else due after that before the end of the semester. So you just want to pay attention to some of these deadlines and dates because they're not always as clear as you might think. So you want to make sure you know what your instructor wants. And kind of on the, what is your exam weighted issue, you can kind of see here on this other syllabi how many points all of my assignments are worth. My assignment that is due tomorrow night, my big case competition project, is worth 200 points. You can kind of see in comparison to everything else, it's kind of a lot. But also something to draw your attention to at the very bottom where it says professional development, it says extra 25. So my instructor is offering us extra credit points and that's due tomorrow also. So that's something to be mindful of. Does your instructor say in their syllabus that you can get extra credit for anything? Have you been doing that? If not, is it worth looking into seeing if you can get some extra credit points before the semester ends? So those are some of my syllabi. Something else, so now that you've gone through all of your syllabi and you see when dates, deadlines, when everything is due, so now it's a good time to create a study schedule. So in the email that I sent out that has this presentation attached to it, I also sent you a zip drive of final exam prep documents. And one of those documents is a final exam study plan worksheet, along with some tips about studying for final exams. So now that you've got all of your dates for everything, you kind of can go through and plot out when you're going to study for what. Some of your instructors might not hold their final exam during finals week. They might have their final on the last day of class. So if you have a final that's on December 13th, make sure that see what you have around that date. Maybe you have 3 finals on December 13th, so that's worth knowing and worth looking at and figuring out how you're going to get everything, how you're going to study for everything if those dates fall really close to each other. And the easiest way to do that is just plan everything out. I know a lot of you are already using planners and Google Calendars and all of this stuff to keep track of your days, but since finals time could be a little bit more intense, it could be worth revisiting that. So of course, everyone has kind of, your normal schedule, your, class, work, extracurriculars, and then around that you want to, if you haven't already been utilizing some of these other on-campus support services, now's the time, and plan to do it. So look at your professor's office hour times and plan to visit your professor during those times. Find out when different study sessions and group studying sessions are happening. Find out when SI sessions are happening. Find out the tutoring center's hours, writing center's hours. Figure out when those places are open and that fit with your schedule, and just schedule them in just like you're scheduling any other appointment. And then go follow up on follow your schedule once you build it. And I know that you guys, it'll seem like a lot, but when you kind of plan it out and look at what your day looks like, it feels a lot more manageable. And also, while you're planning for your study schedule, please don't forget about self-care. You can't do well in a test if you're exhausted or if you're starving because you're not eating. So if you have to schedule time to make sure that you plan, set aside a half an hour to cook a healthy meal, or to go to the gym or take a walk or have a cup of coffee with a friend, plan all of those things out. Write them all down for the next couple of weeks, just so you make sure that you're not just, running on empty and, struggling to focus because of that. So while you're actually studying, one of the easiest things to do is review your notes. So ideally, you've been taking notes from, during lectures, you've been taking notes while you're reading in your textbook. If you haven't been doing that, now is a perfect time. It's a great way to study, is to go through your textbook and kind of write down notes from the textbook. So reviewing all of those notes that you have, but also not just reviewing your own notes, but review previous assignments and quizzes and tests. Figure out what where you lost points and why you lost those points. If go over feedback from your instructor. At the end of the day, we're doing what our instructor wants us to do. So they tell us what they want, we produce an assignment that matches what they want, and we get a grade based on that. So if your instructor is telling you, you didn't show enough work on this math problem and I took points off, and then you keep doing that over and over and over again, you knew what they wanted, and you're losing points because of it. So we'll just, we'll do what they want. And if for some reason you have an assignment where you're not getting a lot of feedback, um, ask for feedback. Take your assignment and go to your instructor's office hours and say, I got this grade, but you didn't give me any feedback. I'd like to know how I can do better. And if you're worried about sorting through all of that, all of those assignments, let me know. I can help. That's something I can help with too, is looking at feedback and saying like, oh, maybe we could try this instead of this. And another reason why reviewing previous tests is important during finals is because you can kind of see how your instructor designs their exams. So, they may pull a lot of information from the textbook. They may pull a lot of information from lectures or other in-class discussions or videos. So knowing how they compile their information for, to create their exams can help you study. So if you spent, for exam one, you studied mainly out of the textbook and didn't take and study lecture notes, and the test was 90% from the lecture, you might not have done as well. So then next time, you go through and now you know what you did wrong. You know what your instructor's looking for. They're looking for you to pay attention during lecture, and that's where the test is going to come from. But you might not know that if you don't go back and review the test. So, if you ever have any questions, your instructor is a great person to ask. So, on that note, aside from reviewing your syllabi, which this can go hand in hand with talking to your professor, but this is so important, and so many students, particularly first-year students, are very hesitant to talk to their professors, but I cannot underestimate the importance of this. So please don't skip this step while you're preparing. This is a good time, if you haven't, really talk to your professor, stop by their office hours, ask, send them an email, ask them, what support services they recommend on campus, what tutors, what people in the writing center, what SI instructors. They can't tell you they won't tell you what's on the exam. They won't give you the answers, but they might be able to tell you how to study, where to focus your attention. They, can tell you, they can give you feedback on past assignments. I know some instructors, actually help students study right there during their office hours. So you don't know unless you ask, and your instructor really is the only one that knows what's going to be on that exam. So you want to make sure you're utilizing them. In addition to utilizing your instructors, you also want to utilize everyone else that's here to help you. You can, one easy way to do that is to form a study group. So another reason why talking to your instructor might be helpful is because they might know of other students that also are interested in connecting and studying together. So if you tell your instructor, hey, I'm trying to form a study group for finals, let me know if anybody else comes to you. Give them my email address, give them my phone number, let's get together. So your instructors can help there too. But some people like to study in a group, some people like to study alone, so whatever your preference is, but just know there's a lot of people that can help you. So aside from your peers and your classmates, there's also on-campus resources. I've mentioned math labs, writing centers, study, other success coaches on your own campus, myself, of course, your instructors, SIs, all of these people are on campus to help. And at the end of the day, you're paying tuition, and in some cases a lot of tuition, to be here, to be on campus. So please get your money's worth. These are services that are provided to you while you're a student, and use them. Don't be embarrassed to go to a writing center or to a tutor. Even if you're doing well, always get as much help as you can. Get your money's worth out of these academic services that you're paying into. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask me for help. If you don't know where to start and you need help with something, and even if you don't know what it is, reach out to me, send me a text, give me a call, send me an email, let's figure it out together, and I can help you go from there. So most importantly, relax. It gets very easy to be stressed out during exam time. I know it's finals, time for me too. I get it. But like I mentioned before, you can't do anything. You're not effective if you're exhausted and hungry. So, take care of yourself. Know that it's not the end of the world, no matter what happens. Education is for everyone. And if this semester doesn't go well for you, we'll find a way for next semester to be better. So just relax, take a deep breath. um, and so, yeah, just so you guys know, so I also sent these out in the email, but next week, so the week of the 12th, I'll be kind of doing some like study table, I guess, rounds. So if you guys want to connect with me during those times, please feel free. You don't necessarily have to set up an appointment with me during those times, but you can kind of see there on the left where I'm going to be and when. And so this is also sent you an email. When it comes close to days that I'm going to be near you, I will send you a text message and let you know. If I'm not at your school, I will be contacting you to set up like a phone FaceTime something, because I want to connect with everyone during finals and just see how you're feeling. Things we can discuss during that time, mostly study techniques, finding what works best for you, organization, time management, test anxiety and stress management, going through your syllabi and past assignments with you, but also talking about what the future is going to look like. So, maybe your winter schedule might need to change as a result of your classes you're taking now, and just talking about what comes next. What are you doing after this fall semester ends? Are you going to remain at your school? Are you contemplating a major change? Are you contemplating transferring? Like where are you going next? We could talk about all of those things. So hopefully I'll see just about everyone next week to help you get ready for finals. And I also have finals care packages for everyone. So stop by when I'm near you and get those. And if you can't see me, then let me know and I'll mail you yours. And then when the semester is finally over, which everyone should be about done by now, we are going to have a Community Scholars Winter Wind Down event. Just kind of low key, hot chocolate cookies. You guys can hear about some stuff that'll be new with our program next semester. You are more than welcome, just like with the ice cream social, to bring guests. So bring parents, siblings, guardians, significant others, siblings. Bring your family. But please just let me know if you're coming and you're bringing other people. Let me know how many people so I can plan adequately for our treats. I will have like end of the semester gifts for you guys, and we'll also just get excited, celebrate this semester being over, but also get excited for next semester. You guys should be really proud of yourselves. You're accomplishing a lot, and it's hard, and I know it is. So I'm proud of you, and I want to show that. So these events are kind of ways for us to show you how great you're doing. So that's it. 17 minutes, about half as long as my usual workshop, so not too bad. Good luck on finals. Good luck with everything. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need anything. Everyone should know how to get a hold of me. Call, text, email, FaceTime. Stop by when I'm stopping by your libraries next week to see me. If you need help with anything as far as exams go, some of you are starting to apply for scholarships for next year. Those are all kinds of things I can help you with. So thanks so much, and you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.